is Selena McKoy, and today I'll be taking you around my website regarding southern leaf blight. And we're familiar with this disease from class, and it was a major point of interest because it did have such a huge impact on how we look at the progress of epidemics as well as the genetics of the host themselves. And for this project, I chose to make a blog on Tumblr. And if you're not familiar with Tumblr, it's very similar to other social media sites. You can follow this blog, you can reblog posts from this blog, and you can share them with others. In this site in particular, you can go to these categories over here, and these are actually in reference to each category of the presentation. And clicking on them will take you to a page that only shows posts that are tagged with that particular tag. There are, for the most part, these posts are information and research I've done for this project, but looking at this tag down here, additional resources, these are links and resources I've found to be very interesting regarding this topic, and I decided to share them a little further down on my page. Also, you can see this timeline, and this is something I also made, and clicking on the link takes you to this page where you can just look at the timeline of some of these events, and you navigate by using the arrows on either end of the screen. With that in mind, let's get right into the presentation. As we know, southern leaf blight, it's actually caused by a polycyclic ascomycete called Biflaris matus, and it's a fungal pathogen of hybrid corn, teosinte, and sorghum. And it has three races, and these are race C, race O, and race T. Race C is limited to China. Races O and T are pretty much wherever corn is grown and with appropriate conditions. Race T is the one we're most familiar with as a class because it's linked to T cytoplasm corn as well as the devastating epidemic of 1970. Race O also affects hybrid corn, but not nearly to the extent as Race T does with T cytoplasm corn, as illustrated in this image here. Race O infected plants are over here, and they still look kind of healthy as compared to the Race T corn, which is really not doing well at all. And as we mentioned earlier, the pathogen is Biflaris matus. And it actually, being polycyclic, it actually has two stages, asexual and sexual spore production. The asexual spores are produced in conidia, and they are released in warm temperatures, and they germinate in conditions of about 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit with some humidity and moisture. And these spores can actually be spread by wind or rain, which gives them a shallow disease gradient and also allows for the spread of the spores over large areas. Once the spores germinate in the appropriate conditions, they orient themselves to find an opening in the plant. They infect the plant, and it's a life cycle of about 3 days. And because of this very short life cycle, it's very easy to get several waves of infection until your crop is completely gone. Also, once they're infected, there are visible symptoms that clue you in as to the presence of SLB. And both race O and race T produce lesions, although the race T lesions are much larger and will actually cover the entire plant if given enough time. And race T also causes stalk rotting and ear rotting, which is where your yield losses come in. And as we've referenced multiple times, both in class and in the presentation, this was part of the 1970 southern leaf blight epidemic. And this actually caused a huge problem for the U.S., totaling about $1 billion in economic losses. And this is because at the time of the epidemic, 80% of U.S. hybrid corn was T cytoplasm corn, and about 25% of this corn was lost during the epidemic. And of course, a major result of that was farmers moving away from T cytoplasm corn and attempting to diversify their hybrid corn just a little bit. And beyond this, there are some control methods. And the main, mostly effective method would be to just not plant T cytoplasm corn. Additional methods include tilling in standing crop debris, as well as crop rotation, and applying fungicides. And that about concludes this presentation. I hope y'all can get the chance to check out the website and get a little bit more information we weren't able to cover in this presentation. And I hope this has been very informative. So thank you all so very much for listening. Thank you.